Oh, hey. Think you were gonna catch me off guard this time? Not today. I'm ever vigilant. If there's one thing you should understand about me, it's that I'm always watching and paying very close attention. So, I'm here. I actually came here on purpose this time to tell you you should subscribe to this channel, like, comment, do all that stuff. You should follow me on Twitter. I'm silly over there. It's worth it. And you should also check out the Discord in the description below. Was that it? Don't worry about what I wrote in my hand. That's it. Okay, I guess we managed to cover it. So, enjoy the video. Before I kill you. I'm just totally screwing with you. This doesn't even shoot, see? Look, it doesn't do anything. Bye, have a good job. Enjoy the video.
Since the dawn of time, humans have fought. It's in our DNA. From clubs to spears to guns. It's infused in our silly monkey brains to butt heads. I actually believe that multiplayer games tie directly into our need for conflict and satisfy that primal urge for conquest.
There's nothing like winning a game of Battle Royale. What's better than winning in a game where 100 people are competing?
Halo, of course, has everything to do with this, mainly because it's the father of esports. But if it's so good, why doesn't anyone play it anymore? Why do people that do still play it hate change so much? Honestly, I guess what I'm saying is... Chopper, spawn. Hey man, I was wondering if you wanted to hop into the mongoose over there.
How about no?
Well, I mean, you didn't have to be so rude about it. For the record, I can take a hint. Yeah, I'm gonna just turn around now and yeah.
Okay, guys. I think we're safe in here. Oh, no.
Everybody run! Bring this through!
Welcome to 2021. We can climb up stuff and shoot people while farting and dabbing. Gaming's pretty wild today. The amount of different experiences you can jump into on a dime is insane. Whether it's a boss battle hack and slash simulator, a free-for-all minigame fest, or whatever, you really can play anything. But who gives a crap about that? Let's roll back the clock. In 2001, with the launch of Halo Combat Evolved, came the ability to not only shoot people, but do other stuff at the same time. It felt good, it looked good, it played, it was fun, okay? What do you want me to say? It was perfect? No, it wasn't. If anyone looked at you wrong with a vehicle, you would die. Hey, did you look at me?
What? No.
Not to mention, the goddamn Magnum is the only gun that matters in the game. If you crash two warthogs into each other, they just go flying. Like, they just straight up go flying, dude. If you fall off a 10-foot cliff, you, the 7-foot tall super soldier, die. But here's the thing. It's absolutely goofy, right? Everything about the way it plays is just silly. Truthfully though, this was something that really was just different for its day and age. This strange arena shooter that slowed the pace down a bit and gave you 3 different ways to take people down: guns, grenades, and melee. Of course, we have to again mention the vehicles, because running people over is fun, and shooting them out of the sky, or mowing them down with a turret, or turning them into paste with a round of tungsten. Magnum offs are fun, but do yourself a favor. Never use the assault rifle. It's a waste. Sniper's great, rockets are of course amazing, game's great, and multiplayer never really had a sandbox like that until Halo Combat Evolved, but it was definitely flawed. For all of the chaos, it was something that I could never really get enough of. I spent day after day with my brother just booting it up and 1v1ing with him. Sometimes our uncle would join the fun, and we'd all just go crazy. Many a night, the last thing that I'd find myself doing was thinking about what we would do on Halo the next day.
Yo, dude, you want to go hop around in the Reverend?
There's only one vehicle I want, and it's a chopper.
I don't, you know, I'm not really sure. I don't think that vehicle's in the game, man.
Shut the hell up and leave me alone.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll go find someone else to drive around in the Reverend with. Asshole.
Funnily enough, I actually remember not knowing that Halo was getting a sequel, and suddenly seeing the trailer on TV. I'll never forget hearing the Prophet of Truth saying,
There are those who said this day would never come. What are they to say now?
but how do you evolve something when its initial title is Combat Evolved? Easy. You further diversify the sandbox. Where Halo Combat Evolved lent itself to its wacky physics and cartoonish gunplay, Halo 2 leaned into more sophisticated systems. Movement was a bit more telegraphed, and I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely felt like you moved faster. The feature set included evolutions to all of the primary elements of the game. Where CE let you pick up a one-handed weapon, Halo 2 let you dual-wield them. Where CE allowed you to ride vehicles, Halo 2 allowed you to board them. Some punk trying to run you off the road? Jack his whip. Actually, that sounds really dirty, I'm sorry. The day of the LAN party was over, because now you could play online. Halo 2 took those silly physics of CE and threw them out the window. And instead, the Havoc engine was levied, and, well, it meant Halo 2 had goofy physics in its own fun little way. Whether it's the old-fashioned super bounces, sword canceling, scorpion pinball, there were a few kinks that needed to be worked out in the game. But gone were the days of only using the Magnum, because now all you need is your handy-dandy battle rifle. Literally, like, that's all you need. It's utilitarian. Guys on the other side of the map, whip out the BR. Close quarters, BR. Up high, BR. Game mode Halo Infinite should feature, BR. What? I didn't say anything. Stop looking at me like that. That's not to say that the other weapons aren't fun, because there's nothing like sniping. The brute shot's pretty dope. Oh, and we can't forget dual wielding, which is honestly completely useless. The main reason why people play Halo 2 is because it's got a skill gap, meaning that the multiplayer rewards people with a much more technical knowledge of the game. You can shoot a dude who knows the game, but he can BXR you, so you're gonna lose. With Halo 2 came esports. All of a sudden, people were competing at a professional level. MLG got involved, and everyone wanted to be a part of it. That's just Halo 2. Not to mention, there was things pros invented like Gandhi hopping, strafing, etc. Lots of little things to increase the skill gap. The problem I specifically have with Halo 2 is that a lot of the skill around it revolves around features that were clearly not meant to be a part of combat. Again, going back to the BXR. Not a fan of the battle rifle? Well, you're not gonna like pretty much any of the subsequent titles then. It's kind of a popular weapon. If you liked Halo 2, you might like Halo 3. It's essentially a better balanced version of the game with a more diverse sandbox. You can rip off turrets, which is kind of badass. Oh, and the customization? But the best thing hands down about Halo 3's customization came later on. Something that was sought after deeply by the community. Hushed whispers spoke of a sacred piece of armor, seemingly impossible to acquire. Yet, somehow, you would find people with it on very rare occasion. The fabled piece was known as Recon. If there was anything that my prepubescent mind was more excited about than girls, it was Recon. So naturally, when Bungie announced the Vidmasters, you can imagine I took a break from having infinite sex to earn the precious armor. I succeeded. See? Halo 3 had a really diverse lineup in matchmaking, with the birth of things like an actual infection playlist, Griffball being created, and Big Team Battle really just being at its peak. There was so much to chew on. I think quite possibly the best part of Halo 3 was Action Sack. All of these extremely silly game modes that you could just jump into and experience were amazing. I think my biggest claim to success was getting to rank 44 in Lone Wolves in Halo 3. I don't know that anyone watching this knows how hard it truly was to get that high in the ranks in Halo 3, but this was far from easy. With the launch of Halo 3 ODST, we got Firefight. In a time where wave-based survival modes were all the rage, Halo decided to throw its hat into the ring. Now say what you want about Firefight and ODST, but it is fun for a little while. I think most of my enjoyment of it was rooted in how difficult some of the achievements were to get. Things like Endure, and just finishing something like 20 sets, it's a hell of a lot of Covenant. ODST let us squad up and shoot Covenant a lot, but there wasn't really anything added to Halo's actual multiplayer outside of more maps released for Halo 3. But honestly, the longer time has gone on, the more kind and fondly that I think of this game. Besides, what other Halo game lets you play as Johnson?
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Suddenly, as if making good on Halo's original subtitle, it was time to change the game again. You like jetpacks? You like sprinting? How about armor lock? The days of balanced starts in Halo were dead and gone. In their place was armor abilities. These fundamentally changed the game. Suddenly Halo Reach's 3D elements as a shooter meant a sense of verticality like you wouldn't believe. It meant that you could temporarily avoid damage in critical moments. You could throw up the active camo, and it would radar jam anyone near you. You could throw a clone out that would trick enemies into firing at it. There was also the ability to sprint and evade, sudden bursts of speed that meant that sometimes the difference between life or death was the push of a button. We can also say goodbye to the battle rifle. It's now being replaced with the precision weapon known as the DMR. And ooh boy, is shooting this thing just not as fun as the BR. You guys like Bloom? You like your shots missing and losing battles because you didn't get lucky with your shots? Reach introduced Invasion, which is honestly such a slept-on game mode. We've never seen a return to it either. This mode pitted Spartans versus Elites, and by the way, Spartans and Elites are no longer the same. Elites are taller and stronger. Invasional essentially had these tier systems that meant you would start with kinda crappy default weapons, and as you progressed further, or as the enemy advanced, you'd unlock new tiers of weapons that you could use. I believe that this game mode was actually what the entirety of Halo Reach's multiplayer was built around. I don't really have anything to substantially back that up with, but it just fits the playstyle of Reach so much more than that traditional arena-style gameplay of the original trilogy. Reach also substantially innovated on Firefight, granting significantly more customization of what your scenarios look like. You want to fight a constant wave of grunts at low gravity? Go right ahead. You want to have infinite rocket launcher ammo and blow away hunters for an hour? Go right ahead. My personal experience with Reach was initially very good, but I eventually did grow pretty frustrated with the limitations that the multiplayer put on my enjoyment of the game. Bloom, armor abilities, overheating turrets. A lot of the elements of this game seem to exist to remove fun from elements of the prior titles. It was a head scratcher for me personally. I find playing vanilla Reach multiplayer is comparable to squeezing piano wire around my fingers and using my keyboard. Jesus, that's a brutal visual. Gotta think of something more child-friendly. Oh, I know. Just remember that this is my personal experience, and it has a lot to do with the fact that I grew up with the original trilogy, with an Xbox controller landing in my hand in 2001 at the age of 6. With the release of Halo 4, it's clear that 343 was in a precarious position. Do we revert to the classic style, or do we move forward with the fourth pillar of gameplay with armor abilities? Their answer? The latter. Halo 4 saw quite a few armor abilities that more or less served as successors to prior armor abilities, and also did its job to balance them out a bit more. Gone was armor lock, here was the hard light shield, active camo, hologram, and the like. Everything was improved. Overall, I think as a multiplayer experience, its level of fun was higher than Halo Reach's, despite being an even further departure from what most would consider a classic experience. They also had the tenacity to give everyone sprint, instead of limiting it to being an armor ability that only some people have. This was a smart idea. Here's the fundamental problem with Halo 4 as a game. It did its best to adapt to Call of Duty, which had evolved to be the top experience that people were playing at the time, incorporating things that were clearly meant as parallels to perks. It had loadouts, and it even had kill streaks. It was quite literally Halo gameplay with Call of Duty's elements incorporated into it. There's debate from some in the community regarding this, but it's completely indisputable that this was the case. This game was designed to attract the Call of Duty crowd, but it didn't appeal to Halo players enough, and it didn't appeal to Call of Duty players enough. I think if they just put dogs or nukes as a kill streak, maybe we'd have liked it more. I can tell you that while I enjoyed the experience, I spent 2012 and 2013 playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It was the first time really that I decided to play a Call of Duty game instead of a Halo game. When I played Halo 5 for the first time, I was blown away. Visually, it almost looked like a dream. The visuals were just fantastic for 2015, and although I wasn't in love with 343's art style, I felt this game added some much needed color depth to what Halo 4 had showcased. But that wasn't what sold me, it was the return to even starts. In a time where advanced mobility seemed to be a birthright for any franchise that dared call itself an FPS, Halo had to give its take on it. It was awesome. Spartan abilities all had practical uses. Some were definitely a bit broken, but the game felt really solid to play. Very skillful and balanced, as opposed to the prior 5 years of releases. Oh, but we can't possibly forget about customization. Come one, come all, and step right up. That's right, spin the wheel. Where it stops, nobody knows. Want to grind toward a particular piece of armor or set? Too bad, bucko. Warzone was introduced to the game as well, And it was pretty damn cool having such huge battles in a Halo game. And the PvE elements, such as the boss battles and whatnot, honestly added to the experience all the same. If it wasn't a pay-to-win mode, it'd be perfect. My personal experience with Halo 5 was great. The only part that bummed me out, really, was that everyone seemed to have just moved on from Halo. I don't know if it was the art style or the refusal to return completely to classic gameplay, but it just didn't pull my friends in the way it pulled me in. And naturally, that was just disappointing. Halo multiplayer is something I'll never put down completely. I always come back. It's shocking that in 2021 we're actually still getting new experiences in Halo, such as Escalation Slayer. Knowing that Halo Infinite will feature only slightly enhanced mobility with a Halo 3 style equipment system, I'm waiting with bated breath. I have a feeling that it's going to be a banger. As we look to the future, it's important to remember where we came from though. If you are new to Halo and are wondering what Halo's multiplayer is all about, it's about the physicality of the game, the way that the grenades bounce around. It's about no-scoping fools. It's about getting your first kill-tacular. It's about grinding for that 50. It's about getting a perfection. Whereas games like Call of Duty have decided that multiplayer is only about grinding and grinding for new content forever, Halo is at its best when it makes sure you're having fun. P.S. If you're not having fun, you probably suck. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Hey, Duderinos and Dudetterinos. Thanks once again for peeping this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. This series is near and dear to my heart, and this series of videos is meant to spill all of that out across the canvas of Adobe Premiere. Time to shout out my Patreon supporters. Nuck and Futz at $2, Tease at $10, Ryan McCann at $15, Herner at $5, and Screamy at $10. I love you all, and I think this year is going to be a really great year. One more thanks for the road, and I'll see you guys next week in the final episode of Why Do People Like Halo?